Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm pretty excited for this video because I'm going to be talking about my current makeup wish list, and I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while because I've been on a low buy since the end of 2018, and although my rules I feel like are pretty generous and I've gotten quite a few of the things that I wanted, there's definitely been a lot of products that I've said no to or had to be more selective about than I would have if I was not on a low buy. So I've been toying with the idea of doing this, but for some reason it just didn't feel very healthy to sit here and talk about like, oh, I want this and I want this and I want this so bad. And luckily Paulina's Beauty did a video, I think it was last week, I'll make sure to link it down below for y'all, where she talked about her current wish list, and instead of just talking about things she wanted, she went through her collection and showed alternatives, and she kind of shopped her own stash for things that would like do the same thing for her and kind of take away that FOMO. And I love that idea so much, so I decided that I was going to do it as well. So I was already planning on talking about my wish list, but this just makes it feel so much more like beneficial for me and for you too, that if you're out there and like these things aren't on your wish list, maybe you'll own some of the things I already have, or maybe you'll be inspired to go into your own collection and shop your stash and see if you can find some alternatives for some of the things that you're lusting after or looking into. I feel like that's just such a better way to do it, because I feel like whenever I really want to make a product and I just dwell and I think about it and I talk about it and I look at it more and more, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced I want it. But I realized that if I dupe it for one or find an alternative, it takes away so much of the FOMO, the fear of missing out. I feel like it just goes like, it's incredible how much duping something helps. And I feel like if you don't think about it and you don't like constantly put it at the front of your brain, then sometimes that that feeling that you need the product will go away. So I also really want to do a video like along the lines of like things I would have bought if I was on a low buy, but now I'm glad I didn't buy them, because like I had a moment there where I was like, oh my god, I need this so bad. But then I realized, because I looked at the list of things, there's so many where I'm like, I don't even care about that, like not at all. I'm so glad I didn't buy it. So if you'd like to see a video like that, definitely let me know. So now let's just go ahead and jump on into my wish list. Actually, I should say something. Just because I found alternatives for some of these products doesn't mean I still don't want them, and doesn't mean that I won't ever buy them. This is not a promise. This is just me like seeing, like giving it time. Like for example, I really think the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette is so beautiful, so I kind of have some alternatives in my collection, but I'm just giving myself time to think about whether I truly want to purchase it or not. So it's in here, but that doesn't mean I'm never going to buy it just because I found an alternative. Just wanted to give that disclaimer. Alright, so I have a lot of products I want to talk about that are eyeshadow palettes, so I figured I would go ahead and start off with something that's not an eyeshadow palette. So one of the things that has really caught my attention recently was the Bombfire little blush and highlighter duos. The one that it specifically like has me like, wow, that is beautiful, is the shade Pre-Party and Victory. Like that looks so beautiful. I just love that like bright pink tone. I thought the blush looked pretty. Like the blush is like this like rosy gold shade that doesn't look as unique, but the highlight, I was like, wow, that is such a stunning shade of pink. I actually went through a lot of my highlighters, like my single highlighters. I couldn't find anything that I felt was the perfect tone to dupe Victory, but eventually I found two different little alternatives, and I'm actually wearing one of them today. So this is the Maddie Ritchie Makeup Times Art Cosmetics collaboration little highlighter palette, and this shade Aura right here is such a beautiful intense pink tone. I feel like it looks pretty similar, like it's such a beautiful highlight. This is what I have on today. So there is Aura. I feel like that is pretty close to Victory, and it is absolutely stunning, so glowy, and it's an indie brand, so I'm so happy I already have this in my collection. Yay for alternatives. I feel like as soon as I swatched this shade, I was like, wow, the want for that other highlighter just completely went away. I do realize a lot of people probably don't have that highlighter palette in their collection, so I tried to find a little bit more of a mainstream alternative. So I pulled out my Douce palette by Juvia's Place, which just looks like this. Such a beautiful palette, and I love using the Juvia's Place metallic eyeshadows as highlighters. I've done that for so many of their palettes, and I thought this shade right here, which is called Puffs, is a really pretty alternative for this as well. It's again such a beautiful pinky shade. It's a little bit more icy than the other one, but there is puffs. So I feel like you could probably get a pretty similar look out of that one as well. And then for the blush, the Pre-Party shade, I wasn't as like drawn to that, but because it is part of the duo, I figured I would mention this. I know this is like way more expensive than the Balm version, but it's something I already have in my collection, which is the whole point of this. Because even if I'm duping it or alternating it with something more expensive, it's technically not more expensive for me because I already own it. Like, it's already here. I'm not paying for it to already be here in my drawer. I already bought it. So I feel like this blush shade in the Natasha No One blush, Diamond and Blush in the shade Daria, is pretty similar. It's like that same like rosy gold tone. Such a beautiful shade. Where am I going to put you? We'll put you right here. So I feel like that will give me the same kind of look. Alright, so the next thing on my wish list is the Colourpop Blue Moon palette. I feel like it is so beautiful, so affordable, so aesthetically pleasing. I love everything about it, and whenever I do eventually make a Colourpop order, when my low buy is done, I see myself purchasing this just because I feel like it is so inexpensive for such a beautiful color scheme. I'm really drawn to it, but for the time being, I feel like for any blue look that I wanted to do or anything that I see people do using this palette, I'm inspired to go ahead and jump back into my Certified Affinity 2. This is a beautiful blue-green palette. It's hard to recommend this over the Colourpop one because the Colourpop is so much more affordable, but I feel like I can kind of get the same vibes out of this palette and like the same type of looks. Like there's like some light blues, some mid-tone blues, there's like a really beautiful navy blue. As far as the shimmer shades go, there is a really light white blue, there's a medium tone blue, and then there's a steeper blue, which this one looks a little bit different than the one in the Blue Moon palette. This is more of a duochrome, but I feel like I could get similar looks, not the exact same, but I do have some really nice blues going on here, so this is kind of my alternative. Whenever I saw the Blue Moon and I was like, do I buy it? Like, should I make it as one of my palette purchases for this month? I thought, no, I'm gonna go back and dip into my Affinity 2 instead. Okay, so the next thing on my wish list is kind of on my wish list, but not really. Like, I wanted it, but I wasn't planning on buying it, and this is the Huda Beauty Neon Pink Obsessions. I feel like this is one of the most beautiful palettes I have seen in a long time. I was instantly inspired by this. I thought the swatches were so beautiful, so I went ahead and I actually duped this palette out entirely with my single shadows. Here's my little version. I did a full video if you want to see what all these shadows are and see them swatched and all my thought process behind them, but I absolutely love that palette, so I wanted to do my own version using shadows that I already have, and I'm really happy with the little palette that I made. I love this color scheme. I think it's stunning. So this was definitely a shot in my stash moment that I was really happy with because it helped me not feel FOMO. I actually have found that Huda Beauty no longer has any mink lashes listed on their website. I did reach out to their customer service to ask them if they are still selling mink lashes or if they're completely discontinuing them, and I have yet to receive a response, and it's been like a week, so I'm still waiting. I know a few of you were asking me on Instagram for an update. I still haven't gotten a response on that, but I am very curious, although I'm still not sure because there's definitely other reasons why some people would feel like they wouldn't want to support Huda Beauty. For me, the mink was like black and white, clear as day. Like, that's a reason I will not purchase, but there are plenty of other reasons I'm not quite sure how I feel about, so I'm not sure if I'll support Huda in the future if they do discontinue selling mink lashes, but I just thought I'd mention that really quickly. But either way, I'm happy with my little palette, and I'm glad I didn't pay $27 to make this because it was already in my collection. Okay, so the next thing on my wish list is not a new makeup release, but it is one of the most beautiful palettes that I've ever seen, and I have just been eyeing it for a really long time. I think it is so beautiful, but the price tag, unfortunately, is not quite as beautiful. It's a little bit cringy. So this is the Natasha No One Gold palette, and I just love the shimmers. Look so beautiful. Like, I can't get over how beautiful the shimmers are, and like the greeny gold. I can't explain my love for this palette. And unfortunately, I still have not seen this palette in person because I feel like that could definitely sway my decision. But for the time being, I have been doing looks inspired by this palette with these two palettes from Juvia's Place, which are way more affordable. I use the Tribe palette in conjunction with the Warrior palette, and I feel like this gives me the same kind of looks. It's also super metallic, super beautiful. I love Juvia's Place's formula, so I've been using these to get the same kind of looks. I actually did do a full video on, like, I think I swatched all of these in the order of the Natasha No One Palette and showed you like what I was using as like comparisons or like dupes. I did something along those lines. I'll make sure to link in case you're curious, and like this is a lot more in your budget than the Natasha No One, because same, I think this is a really great alternative, and I don't know if I'll ever end up purchasing the Natasha No One just because it is such a high price tag, and these look really beautiful and give me the same kind of looks. Like I said, it might be, my opinion might change if I ever get the chance to swatch them in person, but for now I'm really happy with using these as a little alternative. Okay, so next, another release from Colourpop that really caught my attention is their new sticks. I don't know why. I don't even care about stick products that much, but something about this, I was like, the packaging is so cute, the idea is so cute, like I want it so bad, but I knew like I wasn't going to purchase it. And actually I went through my blush drawer, and at the very depths of the blush drawer was this pure cheek stain in the shade Rosé. I believe I received this in BoxyCharm forever ago, so I did go ahead and stop and smell this. And it smells so good. Like, it smells fine. Like, it does not smell bad at all. And I actually don't have that much product in here left. Let me show you. Like, that is all that's left in this little thing. I actually really loved this for a long time, and I totally forgot about this product. So even though, like, I don't know if it's the same shade or anything as some of the Colourpop ones, just the idea of the stick, like the cream blush, and how intrigued by it I was. And then I went back in my own drawer and I'm like, oh yeah, I have one of these little babies. It's not the same product by any means, but it's beautiful. I have it on my cheek today. I actually really do like the packaging on this because it has a little brush that actually blends the blush in really well. I actually really like that. So I'm glad I went ahead and pulled this back out, and I didn't realize how much little product I have left in here, so I'd really like to finish this because it is taking up space in my collection. And maybe if I do finish this, I'll end up getting a Colourpop one, but for now, I mean, I may as well use what I already have. So I was excited to just pull this back out. I used it today, and I think it's a beautiful color. Maybe I should swatch it for y'all. It's just a really pretty, soft, cool tone pink. Smells so good. Okay, so the next thing that has been on my wish list since the very moment it launched, before it even launched, the moment I saw this was becoming a thing, is the Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Into Sun. I just think it is so beautiful. It's like the perfect tone. It looks like a really nice matte bronzer. I love the packaging. I love Fenty. What's not to love about it except for the fact that I really don't need any more bronzer? So this has been something that's been on my wish list, and it's continued to be on my wish list, but I kind of just today, I was thinking about all the things that I want, and I was like, you know what? I keep thinking like, okay, it's a matte bronzer, it's the perfect shade for like really fair skin, it looks like it has a little bit of a cool tone. Like, I just thought everything about it was perfect, but it made me think of something I already own, and that would be my Divina bronzer in the shade Sandbar, which is one of my favorites. I don't know if you can tell, there's no like pan or anything, but I feel like it's pretty obvious that I've used this bronzer like quite a lot. I don't know if you can tell just by the usage in there. I don't think you can see on screen, but I love this bronzer, and I haven't used it in a few months just because I've been using so many other things, but I went ahead and pulled it back out. I've got it on today, and it's just perfect. Like, it blends so easily for me. It's the perfect shade for me. I love this bronzer. It's a brand that I love, so even though I'm sure eventually I will get the Fenty one, I'm like, I really just need to use what I have, and I feel like this is a great alternative because it's perfect for fair skin. It's a matte bronzer. Like, that's what I was looking for in the Fenty, and I already have it right here. Okay, so the next thing on my wish list is some new single shadows from Makeup Slave. They did a pastel collection. I love the idea of that so much. I have like literally the entire collection just sitting in my cart. I'm like, I know I don't need you, I can't purchase you, like I just can't right now, but they are so beautiful, and I saw them swatched and they looked so nice. I just love the idea of having more pastels, but I told myself, it's like, I'm gonna wait to hear some reviews and see what other people think about them. But also, I do already have my Strobe Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette, which has some really nice pastels in here. It doesn't have the entire variety of the Makeup Slave collection, but I do have a good variety in here, and I feel like before I can commit to buying more, I need to make sure that I'm using this to its full potential and loving this and getting lots of use out of it. And maybe I don't have every pastel ever made out there as far as like different colors go, but I do have some really beautiful ones here, so I just was inspired to pull this back out and use this some more. Maybe I'll do a like revisiting this soon if I can. because I feel like I love this, and I have some beautiful pastels that already don't get used enough, so I was just inspired to pull this back out. And these are actually available as singles now too. Alright, so the last thing I have on my wish list to mention today is the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette. I think it is absolutely beautiful. The moment I saw it, I was like, wow, that is stunning. I have had problems with the Ace Beauté formula in the past, so currently I am going back to all my Ace Beauté palettes and seeing if I can make them work and if I'm willing to try them again. I've been watching all the different reviews on the palette. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I'm just trying to soak in all the information so I can decide whether I truly want to purchase it or not. I want to do a Battle of the Green palette, and that's like a huge part of my head where I'm like, ooh, like I think that'd be a really great palette to include in a Battle of the Green palette. But I don't want to buy things just to use them on my channel. I want to buy them to use them all the time and for real life and not just for one video. So I am just taking my time waiting to see if I'm going to end up purchasing it or not. But I did want to mention something that kind of helped me with my FOMO. So I was watching Annette's Makeup Corner. She did a 3 looks and a review on the Ace Beauté palette, and I will make sure to link it down below. And she actually went through and did some swatch comparisons between the Certified palette and the Ace Beauté palette, and there wasn't that much going on that was that similar. There was a lot of differences between those two. She went ahead and swatched the shimmers from the Blush Tribe Hasina 2 to the Ace Beauté one, and there was some really similar tones, and that's like kind of what has me about the Ace palette, is the shimmers are so beautiful and so stunning. And I can't remember which one she swatched exactly. It might have just been these 3 here, but there were some really similar tones, which made me like want to pull this palette back out immediately, because like I already own it. So I'll swatch the shades for you that like really got me. I just thought were absolutely beautiful. Like, look at these. Look at how beautiful these are. Like, that shade, I feel like that's the one in the Ace palette where I was like, wow, I don't have anything like that. And look at me here. So I'm really inspired to use this more. I already love this palette. Like, this was my favorite palette last year, so excited to pull this back out. And it just reminded me, like, I feel like it's so easy to think, like, I have nothing else like this, but then when you take a moment, you breathe. If you are like me and you have a lot of eyeshadows, you look through your collection and you feel and you find that you actually do. So even though I'm still debating about that palette, I'm glad I pulled this back out. I love the shimmers in here, and I'm definitely going to be doing some looks with this and maybe some of the other like grungy greens palettes that I have, and see what I can do. Like, I feel like this with the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette would be an interesting combination. So that is everything today for my wish list and shop in my stash. So I'll definitely, like I said, I'll make sure to leave Paulina's video down below. This was completely inspired by her, and I love the concept, so definitely check her out if you haven't already. I absolutely love Paulina, and I think that's everything I have to say. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.